Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about Van Helsing Season 4, There's No I in Team. I've been wanting to talk about not only Van Helsing for the longest time, but also this episode. I mentioned many months ago when I was talking about Van Helsing that is an episode that's really dear to me that I love. I think it's like the best one out of all of them. And they show this is what you do during a monster apocalypse. This is how they should be filmed. This is how they should be written, and this and that. And I said that I will be talking about it at some point in time in the future, and now this is the day. So, yes, Van Helsing. It stands for Vanessa Housing. Helsing. My bad. Helsing. And it came on Sci-Fi. It lasted for I think 5 seasons. The first 2 are really good. The third one's pretty good, but by 4 and 5 it sucked. Everything changed, and one reason why it sucked is because halfway into 4, the main actress had to leave because she got pregnant, and then they brought in these 2 new characters that people just didn't like. They're not that bad of characters. It's just we wanted to see the main actress, and so what made things even worse is that it got revealed that the actress actually wanted to come back when she was pregnant, but they wouldn't let her. And so she didn't come back until the last 4 episodes of the 5th season, which that just infuriates people. The 5th season is the worst, but this episode in the 4th is actually really good. We finally get to see the vampire apocalypse as it happened, the uprising as it's called. So this is what Van Helsing is about. The world has ended, vampires have taken over, and people are just it's kind of like it's a lot like The Walking Dead, but with vampires. And so the government, they have this woman, she is in a coma, and it's something special about her. She's been experimented on and stuff like that. And she's a Van Helsing. Van Helsing, golly, jeez. And something is very special with her blood. So there's a group of characters in the first season. By this time, a lot of them have died. And so what's irritating about this episode is that there are no... So this is basically a flashback episode, the entire thing. And nobody from the first season, from the main cast, even the ones that are still on the show, do not appear in this. Only the 2 new actresses that people don't like, and a bunch of new characters that don't get attached to. It made no sense. It made no sense whatsoever. I mean, it's a good episode, but it makes no sense that they have nobody from the first season, not even as a cameo. That just didn't make no sense. And so okay, so also this episode stars 2 actresses that I like. I mentioned them before in that Are You Ready to Play game. One of them I totally recognized. The other one I had no idea was her. Now until I looked up the episode, I could not believe it. They had her looking this is how she looks like in real life. And this is how she looks like in the show. Yeah, they totally transformed her. So, anyway. So, it stars Jack. She is the daughter of Van Helsing. It's kind of funny, their family tree. Okay, Jack is Mexican. Violet is black. Van Helsing is all white, and their dad is white. Yeah. I'm all for wokeness and stuff and representation, but that's just a little too far-fetched. But there's a little explanation for it. The dad, he adopted them. The reason why the sisters are 2 different colors is because even though Vanessa is their mom, they basically just took her eggs out and put them in other women. So that's why they're different races and stuff. But yeah. So anyway, it's Jack. She is at high school at this time, and She is at a hotel with some of her other teammates. They do archery and stuff. And so they just come back from competition and they decide they're going to party it up in the hotel room. Big time. They're smoking, they're drinking, and they're underage. So the next morning, the coach finds out and she is furious, right? So as they're outside getting ready to get on the bus, the Yellowstone volcano explodes big time, huge crater on the ground. The ash and smoke covers the sky to where, like, the sunlight is being blocked. It's kind of like an amber kind of color. The vampires take this opportunity to start killing people because they can now walk around in the sunlight because the sun is halfway blocked off because of the smoke and ash. This is the one I'm talking about. This is how Apocalypse's monster one should be. In The Walking Dead, we only got a glimpse of it from a flashback. Fear the Walking Dead did a terrible job. That's how I got about Van Helsing. I was talking about, I made my Fear the Walking Dead video, season 1. I talked about Van Helsing. That's how that came up. So anyway, season 1 of Fear the Walking Dead was terrible. That was not how you do like a zombie apocalypse. This right here is how you do it. So basically, when the vampires took the opportunity, they ran wild like wildfire. All you hear is people screaming. You see vampires attacking people. There's blood everywhere. People getting bit. The main characters of this episode are all screaming. They run inside the hotel, back into their room. When you see them run, the camera person is directly behind them running too. So you see it bouncing around and it looks so real. And every time a person will look in one direction, the camera will follow. The camera work in this episode is amazing. The camera is constantly moving to keep you on edge and suspense. That is how you do it. You don't keep it still. Another thing you do is you have your main characters constantly be scared. They can be heroic, but they still need to be scared. And they're constantly screaming in this episode because everything is scaring them. That's how you do it too. And other like apocalyptic stuff, people are just like calm or they're scared, but you don't hear them scream. And this, you hear the fear in their voices. You see it on their faces. And these girls do a great job on it. And that's how you do it. And so, like, as they're in the hotel, they're wondering what's going on and what are them people, why are they biting people, and all of a sudden, and then so they barricade like the door, but then the vampire still busts through anyway. One of the girls leaves her cell phone behind, so she's trying to go get it. They're like, no, but the vampire busts through that door, and then he grabs her, bites the mess out of her. Then he goes after another girl. She grabs like a bottle from the alcohol they were drinking and she cracks it open and she just starts stabbing him over and over and over till he dies and stuff. And so she's distraught now because she just killed what she thinks is a human. She's not even sure they're a vampire. They don't know what it is. And then so they're upset because their friend is now murdered with blood going on her neck. But then her friend wakes up and tries to attack them. So Jack kills their friend with the red hair. And Jack is now upset because she killed like her friend, her teammate, her schoolmate. And they still not sure what's going on, but they know monsters are going to happen. So they run out of there, screaming and hollering and stuff. They make their way down outside and then into the next building. But that happens so fast you don't really know it. Now they're at the police station. So now they're trying to look for help, but they're scared. So they grab a bunch of weapons and stuff. One girl grabs like the fire axe, and other people are like grabbing like hammers and stuff like that. And they're slowly just walking around the police station. It's completely empty. There are dead bodies on the floor. And it's just everything until the camera work is going slower. It's not moving around as much. It wants to get that creepy feel and everything. And I just love how like they do it. Well, anyways, I forgot to mention something. Actually, I'll get to him a little bit later. I forgot to mention him earlier, but I'll get to him later. So anyway, so as they're like walking and stuff, the girls are like talking. And so Jack, she's in contact with Violet, her sister, on the cell phone, but it's breaking up. And so next thing you know, the blonde girl, Sharon, is talking, and she gets shot. Like all you hear is bang, and it goes to black. You don't know what happened. You see her stomach full of blood. She hits the ground. It's a cop, a scared cop. He was terrified. He thought that they might be like the monsters, the vampires. Now, one interesting thing they do is that sometimes they'll show the back of somebody, have that person talk, but you don't see that person's head. I don't know why the camera work does that, but that's kind of weird. So Jack is trying to calm down the cop. She drops a weapon. He finally calms down. And so Jack's friend, the girl with the glasses, what's her name? Shelly. She's trying to stop the blood of Sharon, and to no prevail. So they're trying to do their best. Brittany, she's the other actress that I like, and so she is like really, really, really upset. She's trying to help the bleeding and stuff, and then so the cops all and they ask the cop for help. He won't do it. He's just still too scared. So then, Jack and Shelly, they're gonna go to this clinic he talked about that's across the street, and Brittany is gonna stay with him. So they run across in the parking lot, and like just like going to the medical place. And I think, wait a minute, I think before they get there, they go through the parking lot, and there's a woman there. She's hysterical. She's scared. She's talking about how like they're monsters and all this other stuff. But so they're hiding out. But the woman is so hysterical. She's talking loud. She's grumpy. She's angry. And so she runs off and she gets attacked by like the vampires. So that gives Jack and Shelly the distraction they need to get into the hospital. While they're there, they're trying to look for supplies. They see a doctor lady. They ask for help. She turns around. Blood is all down her mouth. She's drinking vials of blood because she's been turned into a vampire. So she attacks them. But then both the girls like kill her and everything. No, Shelly kills her. And Shelly's all like, see, look, I killed somebody too. Like, you're not the only person. So she's trying to calm, like, Jack down. They get a bunch of medical supplies. Jack gets back on the phone with her sister. And she's all like, our dad has sent like a helicopter to come get you, right? On the roof. So Jack has to make it back to the police station. So they run back to the police station. And as soon as they get there, they hear like a bang. They run in there, and Brittany has now shot the cop. And they're like, why did you do that? He's all like, well, the cop was freaking out, and he thought Sharon had turned, so I killed him. So then they're like, we have to get to the rooftop now for the helicopter. As this is going on, Brittany has a very disturbed look on her face. It's highly disturbing. See, she shot that cop out of revenge, not because he was freaking out, because she had his gun. At first, I thought she might have been turned into a vampire, but when they're going up the stairs, they get attacked by vampires. So it's Shelly fighting one, and it's Brittany getting dragged and being beat up by one. And the camera moves away to like Jack and then back to Brittany, and Brittany has now been turned into like a vampire. And so this guy, this mysterious guy, he saves them from Brittany. He fights Brittany off. Now this is what's strange about this guy. This is the one I wanted to mention before. Before all this craziness happened, they was getting drunk the night before. Jack and Shelly was getting iced. They're goofing around. They're flirting. And Jack is pretending to be into boys, but she's not because she's like a lesbian. And Shelly's like flirting with her and stuff. And this guy walks in and he looks at them with a creepy look. He's pale. So then when the vampires start attacking outside, when they were finna get on the bus, he pushes them out the way. He starts fighting some of the vampires. And then he saves them and he calls Jack by name. Somehow he knows her. I have no idea who this guy is. I completely forgot. I don't even know if it's even mentioned in the show. So they go to the rooftop, but as soon as they get there, the helicopter flies off. Jack is distraught. But sadly, Shelly reveals that she's been bit. And they're both upset and like they're heartbroken as they're on the rooftop. Shelly gives like Jack a big kiss on the lips. Then she runs and like dies off the top of the building. Jack is just like falls to the ground. She can't believe what all has happened. She is devastated. She is mortified. She is crying, and it ends. And I'm just like, man, see, that's how you do a monster apocalypse. You have a bunch of screaming, you have a bunch of camera work jumping all around. You have people killing monsters. You have them. It has to be like a small group of people. You can't have a big cast because then there's too much stuff going on in that, and not everybody's gonna have a time to shine. So keep it small and do it like that, and it's just an amazing episode. Now, some fans love it, some fans don't. Some fans wish that the original cast would have been in this. I agree, but I still love this episode. Now, wasn't that spooky? Alright, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.